What's up, guys? Today we have the 12 new Lights Verdict cards. I'm going to be ranking all 12 of them from completely busted to absolutely garbage meme trash. Let's dive in and see what we think of the brand new mini set releasing on the 28th. Alright, first up on our tier list, we've got an Empire Reborn. Destroy a creature, its controller summons 2 base copies of the creature that each gain Soulless. This can be used on your own creatures, so you want to use it on something like a Siren of the Grave. It destroys it. The first copy goes into your Void, which is good because Death wants cards in the Void. And then the 2 Soulless copies, they're just there to annoy your opponent on future turns. You can also use it on things like Rock Drake Eggs or on Possessed Acolytes. Combo this with like Necronomics, Over the Line. Things can get really nasty really quick. I don't know if you run 2 copies in your deck. I do think it's probably a B tier card, and I think you can run one of in many death decks and do some really gross things. Next up, we have Pirick Knowledge. This is a Soulless spell, 3 mana. Pull a spell to your hand from your Void and obliterate cards from the top of your deck equal to its mana cost. Then set the pulled spell's cost to 0. Obliterate that spell at the end of your turn. You do have to play the spell that you pull same turn, but it costs 0. So you can use this as like a 3 mana Worm Breath, Arcane Burst. There's going to be a lot of card draw magic that loves Pirick Knowledge. And I'm going to put this in the A tier, and I think we'll see some really nasty card draw magic decks. Next up, we have an End to War. A 3 mana war spell. Pick one, remove protected and ward from a creature, then deal 2 damage to it. Or obliterate a damaged creature. If you have 5 or more creatures in your Void, do both. That means for 3 mana, you can obliterate any creature your opponent has, as long as you have 5 or more creatures in your Void. If you're playing Control War, you're playing a lot of little Blitz creatures, Vanguard Axewomen, Tavern Brawlers, Orcish Elites, Ravenous Chimeras. There's a whole bunch. Viking Longship. You basically ram all those into your opponent's creatures. They go into your Void, and now you have a 3 mana Obliterate Anything spell. That is broken. That's going to be really, really good. That's definitely in the broken tier. Next up, we have Forge New Bonds. Pull a creature from the board to its owner's hand. Swap its mana cost with a creature in your hand that costs no higher than your current unlocked mana gems. So basically, you wait till 8 mana. Your opponent happens to play a 1-cost card. You then play Forge New Bonds, and it swaps. It's very complicated and kind of a meme. I don't think people are going to find great uses for this. You're spending 5 mana. It's okay. It'll be a meme card. I don't think it'll be more than a meme. Shines on Us All is a 2 mana, target a creature, delve a creature of the same tribe. Each creature transforms into a base copy of itself. It's a nature spell. Basically, you can use it to delve off of a nether and hope you can get a Demogorgon. Running 3 copies or 4 copies of Demogorgons would be really cool, but it's a delve, so you're not always going to get that. Setting everything to a base copy of itself is not really impressive. This card is definitely in the meme tier. 3 mana, The Dearly Departed is a neutral creature. It's Soulless. Roar, obliterate a creature in your opponent's hand. Afterlife, add a base copy of the obliterated creature to the opponent's hand. So you obliterate the creature when you play it. When it dies, it gives it back. But the idea is that you want to be able to pair this with something like Reflection Elementalist or Metamorph or Lights Levy your own creature. There's a few ways that you can get around triggering the Afterlife. It's a lot of work to do in order to try and obliterate a single creature in your opponent's hand. If you know that they're going to be playing something like a Polyhymnia, then that's great. Otherwise, it's not going to be very great. So I'm going to put this in the C tier. I think people will try and make it work. It won't be in the top tier decks, but it'll be annoying to play against occasionally if they can get off Metamorphosis on this after they obliterate your Helion Elite. Martyr of Whiteplane is frontline 2/2 creature. While this creature is in your Void, after a friendly creature dies, pull it to your hand and summon this creature with Soulless. So at a minimum, this creature gets summoned back a second time. So it's a 3 mana 4/4 effectively worth of stats with frontline both times. And it's going to pull back something into your hand. You can figure out how to pair this properly. You can get back something like a Highborn Knight into your hand, or Radiant Embalmer, or something weird. I think you can play this in light decks, aggro light decks, maybe control light decks. I don't know what else wants to play this. You can kind of play around it. You can Umbra Arrow it and then kill it. It's very interesting. I think I'd give it a B or an A. I think I'd give it an A. It's definitely going to be obnoxious to play against. You're going to have to be really careful to try and play around that extra creature coming back. All right, Blade of Whiteplane is insane. I'm just going to slam this one into the broken tier. Blade of Whiteplane, once per turn, after a weaker enemy creature is destroyed, draw a card. And the Roar is destroy an enemy creature with 3 strength or less. That means you can destroy Guild Enforcers, Stormstresses, Inconspicuous Carriages, other frontliners that are in your way, a Dionysian Bull. There's a lot of things that can get in your way, and now you can just destroy them while simultaneously developing your board with a 4/4, and simultaneously this replaces itself, and simultaneously this sits on the board and triggers every turn. This card is completely broken. I wouldn't buy the set, spend tons of money to try and obtain Blade, because this has to be nerfed. This card is... there should be a tier above broken, and that's where this card would sit. Alright, on to the legendaries. The Light Seeks the Truth is a 5 mana, obliterate an enemy creature. If that creature had frontline, protected, or ward, the chosen one gains those keywords. This is definitely a bit of a meme, but it also can obliterate. If you're playing against aggro decks, this card is trash. If you're playing against control decks, this card is really good. Sometimes it'll be cool. You can high roll. Maybe your Demogorgon picks up ward or something. Ultimately, it's a very expensive way to obliterate a card. You could usually use like a Censure plus Divine Judgment. That's a lot cheaper. This is obviously one single card, but it's also legendary, so it's going to be hard to pull into your hand. I think it's somewhere between C and B. Against aggro, it's just not good. So we'll put it at C tier, and we'll see how it goes. Forged in the Light, draw the Chosen One. Your God Power becomes Lysander's Justice, a 2 mana God Power with give +2/+1 to the Chosen One. So this is definitely a meme. It is bringing back Chosen One. That's exciting. Chosen One's fun, but it's definitely not going to be legitimate, especially with all these obliterate cards now. You can just obliterate your opponent's Chosen One, and then they're very sad. Even if it has ward and protected and it's got armor and +10/+10, I just use a single spell like End to War or Light Seeks the Truth, and there goes your cool Osiris tricks. The Divine Coronet can attack, roar, gain +4 health. If this creature has 9 health or more, delve a 9 mana creature and summon it. If it has less, shuffle it back into your deck. So the Divine Coronet is really cool and can actually pair with a lot of different decks. Magic obviously comes to mind. Lost in the Depths. You can try and destroy your entire deck except for the Divine Coronet. Play it, it goes back into your deck. Play it again the following turn. You can also try and clone it and do weird shenanigans like that. Get a 9-drop out on like turn 4, and maybe you get a really cool 9-drop and your opponent can't obliterate it with all their cool new obliterate toys. In that case, you win. Maybe. You're also taking fatigue damage every turn. There's a lot of interesting ways to pull it with War. You can use this as the only creature in the deck, and then try and use God Power plus Out of Its Misery in order to pull this into hand with a buff. You can use Spoils of War to pull it into hand with buff. You can use Fox's Venture on it to buff it a little bit more. Just drop it immediately and get it off. With Light, you can use Enlightenment to try and pull it into your hand early. I think these are all memes. However, I also think that you might be able to play it just in a normal deck and a normal control deck and maybe play it early. Hope to get it back out on turn 6 or 7. You can pull it to your hand one time. I mean, if you can get a 9-drop out on turn 6 or 7, you're pretty happy about it. We'll have to see how this one goes. Again, they added a bunch of ways to just obliterate creatures. So maybe even if you do get your shenanigans off, it just dies. So maybe we put it in the C tier, maybe the B tier. I'm going to put it in B and hold out hope that it's actually a cool card. Alright, last up we have the most difficult to obtain chase legendary of them all, Ariel The Fallen. He's a 7 mana, 6/9, nice. Roar, delve 3 Theric cultists. Here we can see we've got 8 different possible cultists. Each time you delve, 3 random ones will appear, and you get to choose one that will go into your hand. So we have Roar, shuffle a card in your opponent's hand into their deck. That's really strong. Roar, transform a creature with 4 strength or less into a 1/1 Theric Militant. It's basically a Ratify or strength or less. That could be like 5, 6, 7 mana cards. Or, you know, this could be a demo and you're just you're ratifying it. Theric Conspirator is a roar. Your Theric cultists gain +1 strength and God Blitz. This is interesting because you can delve this one and maybe delve 2 of these roar, gain +3/+3s. You drop both of these, you drop this guy, and you're doing a whopping 13 damage from hand with God Blitz. This guy has give +1 strength and overkill to a friendly creature. This one has heal your god for 7. That's going to be huge in control decks. Many gods don't have the ability to heal for that much, or you can add demos, but now you can also have just heal for 7. You can be running Helmna. Helmna now gets 7 extra strength. This card is just insane to be able to heal for 7. You can delve multiple of these potentially. Moderator is increase the mana cost of spells in your opponent's hand by 2, max 9. That's insane because it targets every single spell in their hand. If they have 5 spells, that's 10 extra mana that you just cost your opponent. The Oppressor, give order +2 to up to 2 creatures. You can target the same creature twice. So this is like a Censure, except that you can target the same thing twice and give it 4. So it's like a Lips Are Sealed. This is insane value that you're gaining. Wow. So Theriel is obviously up here in the top tier. He is going to be insane. He's a neutral card, so that means you can play him in every single control deck. And now control is going to have a nice creature that can give you 3 really nice smaller creatures. That's it for this tier list. Let me know what you guys agree with, what you disagree with in the comments below. Are these busted cards as busted as I think they are? We'll see. I've got a Lights Verdict Buyer's Guide coming out soon. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.